Good morning, sweethearts. How y'all doing? Happy Saturday. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. It's awfully cold here in Texas. We're under a freeze warning right now. So I'm all bundled up. So how y'all doing? Phaedra mentioned, she says, it depends. Me and Lizette have been having headaches for weeks now. And nothing seems to help. No medicine seems to help. Well, Phaedra, you're going through upgrades, beautiful. Lizette, you're going through upgrades, beautiful. And the headaches, sweet ones, is your crown chakra is opening. You're integrating more of these incoming light encoded filaments. And again, the more light you take into your physical vessels, the more that it's going to expand to accommodate that light, if you will. And if they get too intense, Phaedra and Lizette, you can tell your team, yourself, to tone it down a little bit. It will take you longer to integrate it, but you hold that power, sweethearts, where if it's too intense, you can ask them to tone it down a little bit. Just be in awareness that when you do that, it does take longer to integrate it into the vessel. And so the symptoms will, and what I mean by that is the symptoms will be drawn out a little bit longer. Now, each of you integrate it as fast or as slow as you need to. Your vessel knows, and your vessel will push you at this space and time, in this space and time where we're at right now. Good morning, Nita. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Michelle. Big, big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. You got this. It seems intense. It seems unbearable at times, but you got this, sweethearts. Your vessels. Good morning, Anarchy. How you doing? Hi, Bear. Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. And your vessels are going through an immense transition right now, an immense morphine transformation. Betty messaged me yesterday, and she's like, yesterday or day before, I'm not sure. I woke up and all my crow's feet are gone. And I did a video last week sometime. That's right, Michelle, we got this. I did a video last week sometime mentioning how, you're looking different. If you're observing, if you're able to detach the emotional personality and really allow yourself to view through your expanded vision, whether you're aware you have a set of 12 lenses, if you will, well, more, but we'll go with 12 for right now. You're able to see the minute morphing taking place in your physical vessels. Now, the higher frequency you rise to, sweet ones, you're activating age reversal. You're coming into, communicating more and more with your vessels. And the more you learn how to tell your vessels, if you will, command them, you're going to find that your vessels are going to morph more and more. I feel most unsteady recently. Michelle, clarify what you mean by unsteady. And the reason I say that, beautiful, is because when you say unsteady, now there's emotionally unsteady, there's mentally unsteady, there's physically. Now, many of you physically, and find yourself kind of, when you're walking, it seems like you're, catching yourself kind of wavy. Or weaving, if you will. Many of you are fine. Good morning, Shannon. How you doing, beautiful? How's your knee doing? I've been sending you healing on that. And many of you are finding when you take a step, or it might feel like your knee's giving out on you, or you seemingly misstep, or you go to take a step and it seems like the floor's not there for a second and then it's there. Now, this is all part of the morphing in the transformation of what is going on. Not only the morphing within your physical vessels, sweethearts, excuse me, but the morphing and the transformation that's taking place in the outer reality, perceptual reality, if you will. Now, as this, good morning, Aaliyah. How you doing, beautiful? Big hugs and blessings, guys. Doing better every day. Right on, Shannon. I think I'm going to send you another crystal. Shannon, message me your address, honey. I'm going to send you a crystal that can help heal that knee from your surgery, if you like. So send me. Good morning, Jackie. How you doing, beautiful? And so, sweet ones, know that unsteadiness is completely normal with what we're going through. Vertigo, the headaches, completely normal. Many of your guys' eyesights, again, your eyesights are being upgraded. Those that are more in awareness of how to command your vessels, you're going to find that you can tell your vessel to activate night vision or infrared vision or whatever it may be that you need to, remote viewing, whatever it is that you need. Good morning, Barbara. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that, beautiful. I know I have all your guys' address, but believe it or not, I don't keep your guys' address after I send out your crystals. So, be aware of that. Be aware of that. Energy is intense. Energy is intense for many of you. Michelle, I feel emotionally unstable. Like enough is enough. My patience is gone. Okay, remember, guys, I've made many posts and many videos telling you your tolerance levels are really in the forefront right now. Your tolerance or intolerance is showing you the self-deception, or where you are still holding self-deception energy within yourself, where you are holding judgment, where you are not taking self-accountability. And that is being and all of it is leading you to the core issue of unworthiness and trust and distrust issues. Many of these things are being presented in the physical experience and circumstances for you. Others are coming up through emotions. I had a gal he messaged me, what is going on out of the blue. I just started crying and I have no idea why. That's okay. You don't need to know why. Because right now, again, we are conduits. And Gaia is releasing all of the karmic energies that has been stored in her very core. She's shedding layers. And as she brings up and purges those karmic energies, and that's what she's been doing all along, she has been slowly, oftentimes in eruptions, however you want to describe it, sometimes intense, but she's really, as all of this light encoded filaments continue to come and invade the planet, she's the planet in and of itself is doing exactly what you're doing. The more light she takes in, the more of her darkness that humanity has, through karmic energies, trapped within her, she is releasing, and we're those conduits. So sometimes you're going to have emotions come up that you have no clue what they are. We are conduits. It's why we've gone through the experiences that many can label and describe as horrific, traumatic, yada, yada, yada. And good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Lizette. Again, Phaedra and Lizette, the headaches are the balancing and the harmonizing. Humanity has been under a left brain reality. And now the masculine and the feminine, the right and left brain, are coming into balance and harmony and neutrality and equality. and they're being upgraded and recalibrated in your dream times and through your healing within yourselves. The more you integrate the light encoded filaments, that's the ringing in your right ear, and then you have it in your left ear. That is the harmonizing between the two sides of your brain. And why that happens, your crown chakra, your pineal gland, and your third eye are coming also into harmony, the feminine and the masculine. And the more each of you individually integrate that sacred union within you, the more you're going to be off kilter, you're going to be shaky, you're going to be feeling overwhelmed or unstable, this, that, or the other. And the more water, citrus water, you can take in and drink, the more water you can, the faster you will integrate these and flush this stuff out of your system, out of your vessel that no longer needs to be needed. Now, you're coming into a space, sweet ones, where your light bodies are almost fully, completely anchored in. And with that, there's a whole lot of that last bit of remnants, if you will, that have to be released. Now, it's really helpful to understand many of you are coming into a space all of a sudden where illnesses are popping up. Flu, fluctuating light upgrades. That's what flu stands for. Humanity's been enslaved to believe it's a virus. And, you're becoming spiritual. Now what? How do you live? And that's the space so many of you are in. Well, I'm spiritual now, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to live anymore. Because, I'm leaving this situation, but this is still going on. And you're really coming into a space, sweethearts, where even the label, if you will, of spirituality is disintegrating. And many of you are finding yourselves in spaces where you're once again finding yourself going your separate ways, if you will, from that which has been so familiar to you on your spiritual journeys, whether that's your group chats, whether that's your so-called soul tribes that you've been with on your journeys, whether that's your groups, whether that is even your friendships, your jobs, your home, everything within your physical reality is morphing in transformation. Anything on your spiritual journey, those that are in your presence that have walked maybe the beginning part of your journey, or maybe the whole journey, or maybe only half of your journey. Again, everybody outside of you that crosses your path, when two hearts meet, regardless of whether it seemingly seems like your enemy, a stranger, your soul tribe, whatever it may be, when two hearts meet, that meeting point is God. Now that you are coming into higher frequencies and you're anchoring those higher frequencies in, you are becoming the light fully. How do you live, be in the light, when your vessel's so used to having to defend itself with half-truths, with masks, with disguises? How do you allow yourself to come out when for so long you've had to hide yourself? How you doing, Carrie? Big, big hugs and blessings, beautiful. And so that's the space many of you are finding yourself in. What do I do? Where do I go? Sweet ones, just be. Right now, you are in a space where so many of you are tired. So many of you, as Morgan said, I've had enough. It is only in the space where you have had enough. Think back. Observe over the course of your life, let alone your spiritual journey. I'm one of these people. I'll give you an example. I'm one of these people. When I say I'm done, I'm done. When I get to the point where I have to say I am done, I walk away. I will try everything in my power to do what I can to make the situation the best that it can be. But when I reach a point, I'm done, I'm done. Now, on your spiritual journeys, so many of you have sat there and said, I'm tired of this. And then when the universe presents it to you again, you engage and participate and react in the same way, in the same manner. Well, I thought you were tired. You're not tired enough because you just put it right back into the universe saying, I'm not tired enough, so bring it here. Now you're reaching a space, sweethearts, where you really are tired and you're done with it. You're done. Because your soul has chosen you are worthy. And your physical vessel is coming into that inner standing and that balance and that harmony with your spirit. So anything that is not of trust, that is not of the truth of your original blueprint, and that's where a lot of self-deception comes in. Self-deception being that which you still have to put a mask on that you're not consciously aware of yet. That which you still feel that you have to hide yourself in one way or another, or tell a half-truth, or this or that. These are the things that are being shown to you. These little things that no matter how far on your journey that you have come from, you are still not stepping into your power, and that is what these energies are showing you. And with that comes up, now you're starting to, because of the sacred union within yourself, now you're going through a lot of sexual integration, if you will, and those sexual memories, those sexual beliefs, those sexual taught things that all have to do with trust is also presenting itself. And that is returning those aspects, that is transforming those energies back to the sacredness of what sexuality, sexual intercourse, tantra, and all that is, which is the sacredness of creation. Many of you are finding yourself dealing with these kind of issues. Well, I don't want to have sex with my partner. I feel like I am impotent. What is going on with me? I have no desire anymore. You have no desire. You feel impotent. And this goes not only for the masculine, but for the feminine. And many of you women, those who in the physical age are higher up in years, that are not used to a menstrual cycle, many of you are finding yourself bleeding again or spotting. And you're not one, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Physically, something's wrong with me. Again, if you allow yourself to communicate with your vessels, rather than panicking and running to the doctor, you will discover that is part of the upgrades. It don't matter if you're 60 years old, if you're 20 years old, if you're 90 years old on this spiritual journey and you have chosen to awaken, your body, the higher in frequency you go, your body will respond and will begin to start age reversing. With that comes, again, just because you may be 60, 70, 80 in the physical. Some of you, myself included, I have been in menopause for 10 years. I went through menopause at 38. Thank God. And and even me on my journey, especially when you're dealing with the root and the sacral chakras. When you deal with and that's what's coming up, because those are the ones that deal with a lot of the sexual miscreations, and where so many have self-deceptions and hold guilt and shame because of their sexual miscreations. Allow yourselves not to judge it. Had you not experienced it, you could not bring karmic and generational and ancestral karmic energies into neutrality and 0 point. It's helpful to understand that a lot of what you're clearing is ancestral. It is generational. You have cleared much of your stuff. Not only have you had to clear individual karmic energies and memories within your cellular memory DNA, you've had to clear it for your ancestors, and you've had to clear it for through the generational and the ancestral. And that ancestral is not necessarily the same as the generational. It's also helpful to understand that you're clearing bloodlines. Your bloodlines have been intermixed. So not only are you also, when I say transforming and neutralizing in 0 point ancestral, that goes farther back than just what the human mind can comprehend. That goes back to the miscreations of your star DNA. That goes back, it goes way back. It goes back to past Atlantis, past Lemuria. And again, it's not as the physical presents. Let me catch up. Charles had said something, and I was in the middle of us talking. Let's see. What if you believe you've nowhere else to go? Nowhere else to go, but where, Charles? How you doing, Betty? Barat, Charles, big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. What if I'm afraid to ask or don't know how to? And how are you? Sorry I didn't ask for it. I love you, beautiful. I love you, Charles. Big hugs. I'm great, guys. And so many of you are Darlene, to answer your question, Darlene says, I wonder if early menopause was because we were awakening. Yes and no. And a lot of it is because, and it's really helpful to understand. Charles, I'll answer your question if you answer mine. What if you have nowhere else to go? What, honey? And what if you're afraid to ask? I'll answer this when you answer me back, if you will, please, sweetheart. Darlene, to answer you, the yes and the no. Yes, because if you understand anything about blood, in the ancient ways, we would take our blood from our menstrual cycle, and we would take it and gather, if you will, the first part of the blood of our menstrual cycles. And we would take it and we would put it into the earth, worshiping her for giving us the life and the blood to create new life, if you will. And our blood is sacred. Everything about us is sacred. But all creation comes from the feminine aspect. Even the Father, his light is born through the love of the Mother. And that's why the Father and the Mother are not separate. They are as one, just as each of you are. And as you come into that, which that is what you're coming into, though, that's the light frequencies you're rising yourself into, where there's no more separation. And so the human aspect is what you are transforming and leaving behind, the human personality. And so when you the human will shut yourself down. The second it goes into fear, it will shut yourself down. So, Darlene, to answer your question, yes and no. Part of it was we shut ourselves down, not understanding. We were tired of the cramping, we were tired of the bleeding, we were tired of this, we were tired of this, we were tired of this. And if you observe back, how many of you ladies, I'm tired of cramping, and you beg to go through menopause, you beg to be done with your menstrual cycle, because we have been mind programmed, and the masculine too. The masculine used to, and please don't take this from from the definition of the human aspect. The masculine and feminine both used to worship the menstrual cycle of the feminine because they knew the sacredness of the creation that it was. That it had the potential of creating. And so the masculine essence in their own way also goes through their own menopausal symptoms, if you will. And so it used to be that the masculine, when the feminine would go through her menstrual cycle, the masculine would go through it literally right with her, because they were in that sacred union, if you will, and they were not separated. That is why so many of the masculine, if you think back when your wife, your girlfriend, your mama's baby, whatever label you give her, how many of you masculine went through morning sickness? Many of the partners, when they are fully connected, the masculine will go through the nausea and the morning sickness and the labor pains right along with the feminine, or oftentimes for the feminine, if you will, and to relieve a lot of it from her so it's not so discomforting for her. And so as you go through these, the more light encoded filaments that you are bringing in, some of you will go through, because of the operations, from a collective standpoint, there has been many that feminine that have had their, what is it called, a hysterectomy, I lost that word, or have had tubal ligations or this and that. And so those surgeries, because of the energy that was also put into the surgeries of those that were cutting you and massacring you because of the enslavement they've been under, those two have to go through transformation. Every organ in your body is going through transformation. And did that answer your question, sweetheart? So just so you know, ladies, why I brought that up is know that those are some things that may appear for you. And it's not that something's wrong necessarily, but I would really encourage you to communicate with your vessel before you run to the doctor, because a lot of it is upgrades. And hot flashes, cold flashes, 1 second being really, really hot, the next you're really, really cold. If you're unstable, if you're overwhelmed, the best thing you can do is go outside. And I used to, back home, I used to walk barefoot in the snow even. And just to ground those energies in these light encoded filaments, they're coming in to be grounded. And as you integrate it, then you have to ground it. And you're doing that. So, yes, these are intense. They're intense, beautiful energies that are bathing the planet right now, sweethearts, but they're triggering intense things that are not so beautiful. And each one of these things that are arising and being presented literally are showing you where you're still holding unworthiness for yourself, where you are still holding trust issues. And to surrender fully to yourself, you have to be willing to be fully truthful with yourself. You have to be willing to master self-accountability. And right now, all of those self-deceptions of where you still have trust issues, and all trust issues come into play with unworthiness. And if you look at the distortions, the aches and the pains and this and that within your vessel, whether it's your knees, your shoulders, your lower back, those three things right now are very prevalent. Why is that? Why are so many coming into having knee injuries in their lower backs or ruptured discs, or things happening to their shoulders, ruptured rotor cups, or just really discomforting pain in the shoulders, in the lower neck? You have been enslaved in a program of sacrifice. And right now, everything that you hold within you that is connected to love, for it to be love, you have to sacrifice any of those cords and attachments. Those two are coming up to be released. Because love is never in vain. Love is never a sacrifice. And you never, in your natural true state of being, you never sacrifice yourself in the name of love. Because love is. Love is everything. So never in your natural state of being will you ever in any way, shape, or form have to sacrifice yourself for love or in love's name. Or in, say it a different way, in the name of love. Because love has no sacrifice. It is not a sacrificial energy. And that, again, that sacrificial energy ties into having to save the world, having to save others, having the fear of releasing the emotional attachments to your children, to your friends, to your lovers, to your spouses, to your partners. There is a difference between feeling unconditional love and having an emotional attachment. You're releasing the energies of feeling responsible for the world. And with that comes all the energetic blockages in your shoulders, in your knees, and in your back. Because back problems, knee problems, and shoulder problems all stem from carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feeling responsible for everybody else. You always putting yourself last. And again, all those are directly tied into worthiness. So many energies are coming up. Some soul tribes are dealing with one energetic collective, if you will. Another soul monad in their tribe is dealing with transforming another energy of the collective that is also withheld in you. So even though you may have cleared something in your inner space of why is this presenting itself again, it's because, again, we are conduits. And we are neutralizing a collective consciousness that we are detaching from of the lower frequencies to and tuning in and anchoring into a higher collective consciousness. That higher consciousness and those higher frequencies cannot support that which is not of the frequencies of love, that which is distrust, that which is where you are still in a space of sacrificing yourself, that in a space where you are not being self-reliant, where you are not being self-sufficient, where you're going from a space of codependency to interdependency, sweet ones. And your logic brain is being rewired and recalibrated to understand there is a difference between codependency and interdependency. And so there's a lot going on for many of you, for many of us. And it's all beautiful because when you can, again, detach the emotional attachments, the emotions that are coming up are not yours. They're your inner child. They are not the ascended master that you are. And that's where you have to be the parent that when these things occurred to that inner child, or Gaia, if you will, when you can be the parent rather than attach emotions to what is being presented, you will be able to see above it, through it, below it, around it, beyond it. And it is only when you're able to see through all of the lenses that you can see the truth of and become aware of the core issue of what you're dealing with. It is never what the surface presents. And that's the beauty of these energies. And coming up on this full moon on the 3rd and the 4th, depending on where you're at, sweet ones, this full moon literally is a full moon of elimination. So what you're going through right now literally is making room to fully anchoring in your light bodies. Now remember, I made a post a couple days ago saying you're all about to see that with your free will choices has kept you from thee. And that's what you're being presented, sweethearts. And when you can see through it, see above it, see around it, see beyond it, see below it, you will truly allow yourselves to set yourself free. And fully allow yourself and give yourselves permission to fully anchor your light body into your vessel. And the more you give yourself permission and allow yourself to do that, the more and quicker and more graceful and more gentle you will integrate these energies coming in. And for like Phaedra and Lizette, it will ease up the headaches and stuff. Now, when you're having these headaches and in these integrations, that is when you really need to allow yourself to spend time out in nature, hug a tree, whatever it may be. For those with high blood pressure or are having heart problems, one of the most beneficial things that you can do is hug a tree for 15 minutes a day. For those who have heart problems and especially high blood pressure, there are many that I'm aware of, and two people very close to me, my sister and Mark, that and then of course my angel, that have heart conditions. And again, if you allow yourself to hug a tree for 15 minutes, it will decrease your blood pressure and it will assist in healing your hearts. Now, many of you are coming into a space of heart arrhythmias. Again, if you allow yourself to hug a tree for 15 minutes a day, preferably twice a day, you will find that tree will realign your heart arrhythmias. Now, for those who are watching that are not on the spiritual journey, that may seem that seems far-fetched and crazy, I encourage you to do it for 10 days. Take your blood pressure before, to take your blood pressure after those 10 days. Discipline yourself to do it at least 15 minutes a day, once, preferably twice, and you will see and have your own proof. Everything in your vessels right now, sweet ones, that is coming up, any kind of ache, pain, illness, disease, can be cured, and you will find that it can be cured a lot quicker now with these energies. Let me catch up here. Good morning, Shell. Big hugs. Oh, Phaedra, it's cold here, beautiful. I'm telling you, it's like 29 degrees here, which is kind of unusual. Last year at this time, heck, it was 97, 98 during the day, and it was still 77, 80 at night. I don't have hardly any winter clothes, and I'm just freezing. I'm cold. Good morning, Debbie. How you doing, beautiful? All right, let me catch up here. Me too, Lizette, age 22, had a tubal. You know, I had my tubes tied after my first two, and ended up pregnant with my third one. And the doctor said it was because they hadn't cauterized when they did the tubal ligation. They hadn't burned them. They just cut them, and they'd grown back together. And then with my husband Russell, I had a tubal pregnancy. That was certainly by the Creator, because my tubes had been tied and cut twice and cauterized. And I still ended up pregnant, and I lost that. I miscarried that one. And but I went through it, and many of the feminine divine have gone through, that are embodied, have had major issues with endometriosis, with cysts on their ovaries, problems with the lining of the uterus, uterine cancer, cervix cancer. Understand that you were clearing that. That was part of your missions. Your vessels were used, again, were conduits. And you know, it's an honor. It's an honor. Monica, lower back and neck right now. Well, there you go. You know, guys, I just told you. You know, allow yourself to stop carrying the weight of the world on the shoulders. The world isn't your problem. You don't need to save the world. You're not here to save anybody but yourself. And the reason you're not here to save anybody else is because you don't know that person's heart. You don't know what their specific soul's purpose is on their karmic energy, or what they have come here to be a conduit for. You do not know if they're on a galactic mission. You just don't know. And that's why everybody's journey is different yet similar. And you will find that, you know, there's 12 soul monads. There's one soul monad that dealt with homelessness, where some of the others didn't. Some of the others had to deal with rape and murder, where some of the others didn't. Some dealt with poverty, where some had to play the role of the wealthy. And so we all had individual and soul monad and collective that we came here to specifically do. Linda, today you look amazingly beautiful in those eyes. I love you, beautiful. Thank you. I've been told my whole life, and I never understood it until my journey understood it. People have told me that my eyes are mystical, that they're transforming, that I can't tell you all the words that mesmerizing was one that's been used an awful lot. And I can tell you this, most people can't stare into my eyes for more than, not even a minute usually, a couple of minutes. Most people can't. And it freaks them out too bad. And they just, for whatever, I'm blessed, you know. I'm blessed. Sharon, I have a place I go for the healing. It's a circle of ancient trees. I can go lean against them and ask for healing, especially if it's a back pain or other ortho pain. It's magical how they feel. Absolutely. And the trees, I'm telling you, every time you guys hug a tree, every time you walk on the grass, every time you walk down the street and you see a flower and you stop and you don't pick it, but you just allow yourself to hold it, to cup it in your hand, and they give you energy like that, they're doing you a great service, and you're doing them a great service, because the more you allow yourself to receive, whether it's from the animals, the insects, the trees, the grass, the elements, you will receive and take their energy from them you're emptying their cup for them, giving them the opportunity to have fresh and renewable energy from Mother Earth, so they can fill their cup up again too, because energy is always moving, and when it's not moving, it becomes stuck and stagnant. And so we do a service to Mother when we allow ourselves to spend time in nature, when we allow ourselves to receive the energies of her elemental kingdoms, of her plant kingdoms, of her insect kingdoms, of the tree people. And you will find a tree that looks dead. If you go out there and you spend 10, 15 minutes a day hugging it and talking to it and telling it your woes and telling it your goals that you've accomplished and telling it your wish and dreams and just communicate with it, or just sit in silence and just receive, you will find, especially if you talk to a tree that seemingly appears dead, and you do it consistently, you will breathe life back into it. You are that powerful, sweethearts. We are the breath of life. We are the way, the truth, and the life. And we are magical. And we are miracles. And now you're spiritual and you're illumined. And you're learning how to live and be in a light body. And to be all that you are. And as you do that, you have to release all that you are not. Because you have declared you are worthy. You have declared your sovereignty. You have declared your divinity. And all that which you still observe in the outside world and all that which you hold within that is not sovereign, that is not of the highest divinity, the highest truth of you, which is peace, has to go. And so, you got this. Pamper you through it, sweet ones. Really, that's all it is. Pamper you through it. So on that note, have a happy Saturday. Have a very, very magical, magical day. I love you all. Big, big, big hugs and blessings. And no, we're in this together, hand in hand. Because we really, truly are. One heart, one mind, one family. Have a great day, guys. Big, big, big hugs and blessings.